Seth, you have such a fantastic phrase around raising kids called raising free-range kids. Can you tell us about what that means?
So I did a free ebook that turned into a TEDx talk called Stop Stealing Dreams. And the idea is we fail to ask a key question as taxpayers, as parents, as educators. And the question is, what is school for? We keep running this multi-billion-dollar operation, trillion-dollar operation, but we don't ask what it's for. I know what it used to be for. What it used to be for was to train obedient factory workers. We didn't have enough, so we built this system on purpose to train kids to sit for 9 hours, to do what they were told, to learn how to use a number 2 pencil, and on, right? Yes. And it worked. We got plenty of factory workers who were compliant, who would put up with all sorts of nonsense in a dark room for 8 hours for a paycheck once a week. We also taught people how to consume, because that was the other big problem. In 1920, the average kid owned 2 pairs of pants and 1 pair of shoes, right? You don't know a human being who owns 2 pairs of pants and 1 pair of shoes anymore, because we needed to train people to fill their closets with stuff, and we did that at school. So what is school for now, right? Is school to cocoon our kids and to keep them ultra safe and to make sure nothing bad ever happens to them and to train them to go to the placement office when it's time to look for a job and to go to a famous college and go $250,000 in debt and blah, blah, blah? I'm ranting. No, well, I think we agree it's not for that.
Right.
So what is it for? I think it's for 2 things. Teach people to lead and teach them to solve interesting problems. And the way you do that is by teaching kids to fail at solving interesting problems, because that's the only way you ever get good at solving interesting problems. That this idea of failing and getting lost on the subway and finding your way home, failing when you put up a blog post, and if you're 12, I hope it's under another name, but put it up there and no one likes it, yes. Right? Failing to get your Wikipedia edits approved. Once we get into this habit of realizing it's not fatal, then we get back to that whole monopoly riff. Like, we are adults trying to undo the damage yes. that all that well-meaning training did. Mm-hmm. Well, let's change the well-meaning training, shall we? And instead say, what it means to be a free-range kid is coming home with straight A's is fine. I'll accept that. But what I'd rather have you do is come home and tell me something amazing that you learned in the spirit of doing something good for someone else. Come home and tell me some really dramatic failure that occurred as you were trying to solve an interesting problem. Don't come home and say, I did the chemistry lab and it came out perfect. Come home and say, I did the chemistry lab and something exploded. Because now you've learned something that doesn't work and realize that exploration pays off over and over and over again.
Love it.